8 feet, -1. Contact. Okay, Houston, the Falcon is on the plane at Hadley. Roger, Roger, Falcon. No denying that, we have contact.
Welcome, and on today's show, I get to showcase the affordable moon watch. But first, today's shot comes from famous Ticking Gallery, and this is a beautifully retro picture of a lot of old fun stuff, but in the center of the frame is a CD-401M246, one of those old data banks. But look, we've got Ferris Bueller's Day Off, looks like a DVD case, sound wave transformer in the bottom right, questionable music taste in the bottom left, and that watch head is sitting on the bed of some floppy disks.
Reminds me of those good old Amiga 500 days.
Anyway, what a fantastic shot, and thanks for tagging me in, my friend. If you'd like to be on the next Casio Corner, all you gotta do, find me on Instagram here and tag me in on one of your Casio posts. Who knows? Next time, the star of the show could be you. Wow, what an amazing show I've got for you today, because I do love watches and I do love space talk, you know. And
get your watch out.
Well, I've got my beautiful 62 mass SBB143 build on today, courtesy of Case and Dial. This watch was built for me, and I've still got it on an Uncle Seiko Tropic strap. What a beautiful build me up diving stunner. Right, let's set the scene, shall we? In 1969, NASA's Apollo 11 crew landed on the moon. But did you know there were 5 other successful missions to the moon, not including the one where Tom Hanks had a bit of trouble?
Houston, we have a problem.
That was Apollo 13. But in 1971, Apollo 15 landed safely on the lunar surface. And one of those spacemen was Colonel Dave Scott. He's the man that did that experiment with the feather and the hammer, dropping it at the same time and proving that without gravity, all things drop at the same speed.
I think that's what he was proving.
Anyway, he's more famous for actually being on the moon, isn't he? Well, during his mission on the moon, his regulation Omega Speedmaster broke. Yes, the Hesselite crystal popped out of the case. Fortunately, good old Dave had a backup watch, and it just so happened to be a prototype that no one has seen before by a company called Bulova. Anyway, at the time, they were in competition with the likes of Omega to give those NASA boys a watch that could survive space travel. Unfortunately for Bulova, Omega won the contract.
Perhaps Amiga had more of a persuasive argument.
So Dave Scott had this backup watch, which was a Bulova prototype. It wasn't for sale anywhere, and Bulova didn't even know that Dave took it with him on his trip. You can actually see Colonel Dave Scott wearing this watch on the surface of the moon. Years later, some, 40, Dave Scott handed this watch in to be sold at auction. Bearing in mind this was one of a kind, and the fact it still had moon dust on it, people were expecting that this was going to sell at quite a handsome price. Well, in 2015, it sold for $1.6 million. That's a lot of moon cheddar. So the guys at Bulova, not wanting to miss a trick, thought we should come up with a reissue. And in the same year as that auction, the Bulova Lunar Pilot was released. Trouble is, it had 2 annoying changes. 1, they added a date complication. And 2, they made it bigger. They did make a 3rd change, and that's to do with the movement, which I think is pretty cool. I'll talk about that in a minute. So to buy an Amiga Speedmaster moon watch, you are talking £5,000. Well, the Lunar Pilot, you can buy for around £400. And this makes it the affordable moon watch. Quite an exclusive club to be in. Well, it's a big thank you to subscriber Glyn, because he sent me his Bulova Lunar Pilot in for review. I don't think I've ever been more excited and more apprehensive reviewing a watch, because I really want to love this thing. Are you moon ready? Let's go! So here it is, the Bulova Lunar Pilot, and this is right up my street. What I see here is an incredibly good looking military style pilot's watch. That black and white style, so legible, something that obviously was a requirement when this company was gunning for the contract. The case is not brushed, it looks bead blasted, and also at the side of the bezel that looks brushed. I've never seen brushed stainless steel and bead blasted together in one place. It's a stainless steel case, and we've got really attractive chrono pushers, haven't we? They look like they're on hinges and it's not just buttons. Also, look at that huge crown recessed into the front of the case. Love the contrast of that polished crown and chrono pushers to the bead blastedness of that case. First impressions, I want one. Quick spec check.
Okay, hang on. Right, I'm ready. Here we go.
So the case is 45mm in diameter. It's just under 14mm thick. It's got a lug width of 20mm, but a lug tip to lug tip of 52.5. Yeah, so this is big, isn't it? The way the case is shaped as well, those lugs don't curve down. You've pretty much got a flat case sitting on a wrist. So we got a push and pull crown at 3 o'clock. It is huge, I love it. As I said, it's recessed into the front of the case, but easily gotten at round the back. It's not a screw-in crown, but we do have a screw-in case back. This watch is only water resistant to 50 meters. Also, I've got to say that case back. Oh no! Oh yes, very nice. Very nice indeed. And welcome to the design house, where we take a look at our case backs from a company called Bulova, a moon watch with a lot of history. Let's take a look at the case back. And well, okay, so no display case back, that's fine, it's okay, we'll give it some time. A lovely bead blasted affair, isn't it? We have a beautifully polished tuning fork, haven't we? Reminds me of the cutlery we use at my gentleman's club. Apollo 15, that's the crew mission, and July 26th, 1971 to August the 7th, 1971. That's how long the mission took, obviously, and EVA, extra vehicular activity. Hadley Reel Apennines. Well, that's basically the location of where the mission was. So there you go, the Bulova Lunar Pilot in all its glory. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Cut. Yes. Now, I need my protein shake. Every single time, stupid thing goes wrong at the same time every show, so sorry. Now we've got to talk about that crystal protecting the dial. It is sapphire, and it is a clear 1mm taller than the bezel. Looks like a lovely hat for a watch. Now, I have never owned a watch with a crystal like that. Can sapphire be chipped? I'm not entirely sure, but it can definitely get roughed up. The strap that came with Glyn's watch is really nice, I have to say. It's leather, but it's like a crossover weave pattern. It's padded, which means it's probably going to fit a little bit big on the wrist. But when you've got a big watch anyway, who gives a smeg? The strap is really well done. It is really soft. I do like the matching bead blasted tang buckle. Got signed Bulova on the end of it. Okay, let's look at the face.
Dial time.
And this is a beautifully well thought out chronograph face, isn't it? Inside that crystal, we've got a raised tachymeter bezel. It's almost like it's on a cliff edge, and then it drops down into a very detailed minute track. Then comes the lovely sandwich part of the dial. Beautiful matte black finish, but it's those recessed subdials that steal the show. Each have their own character, but formed with those concentric circles. So we've got the running seconds hand at 6 o'clock, the chrono hand which shows 1/10 of a second at 3 o'clock, and a 60-minute dial at the 9 o'clock. Around the outside of the raised dial, we have really nice framed applied indices, baton style, double baton at 12 o'clock for good legibility. These look framed in stainless steel and just adds to that tall effect, you know. I do love the fact they've used small batons at 3, 6 and 9. Just makes the balance of this watch look awesome. Below the 12 mark marker printed in white. We have the Bulova logo. But as you can see, between the 4 and the 5 batons, we have that date window. The date wheel is in black and matches the dial.
But what is the deal with a blooming date complication all the time?
I don't think it needs it, especially as this is a reissue of a watch that didn't have it to start with. I would have kept it out. The handset, well, they are simple looking, but they're there to do a job, aren't they? The hour and minute hands are that sword style, framed in white and filled with lume. The chronograph hand, well, that's the most interesting hand of the 3. Very legible and a perfect accompaniment to this watch. It's a clean, busy yet simple dial. But if you look a bit deeper, this is truly a magnificent and well-designed dial. Bravo!
Sorry to bother you. Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
So lume on the handset, lume on the indices. Let's see how this puppy glows. Yeah, so this particular one isn't brilliant. It is a pilot's watch, so it's not massively needed, but this is the first time I've had a Bulova watch, and the lume hasn't really impressed me. So in the original Dave Scott Bulova, powering his watch was a mechanical Valjoux 72. Now this reissue does not have a mechanical movement, but has an absolutely extraordinary high performance quartz movement inside. Now your basic quartz crystal vibrates at 32,768 cycles per second. Bulova's caliber 8136 vibrates 8 times faster. That's 262,142 cycles per second. Now that gives you 2 benefits. When you engage the chronograph, that seconds hand sweeps as if it is mechanical. But even more impressive, you get ridiculous accuracy. So your typical quartz movement will have an accuracy of minus to plus 15 seconds a month. Well, this baby will give you minus to plus 10 seconds a year.
That is special.
To operate this watch is very satisfying. Probably the most satisfying quartz watch I've ever handled. So there is no screw in, so this just pops out. Lovely big crown. And at the first position, turning it clockwise, you can change the date. And pull it all the way, the seconds hand stops, which means we have hacking and we can set the time. And I have never felt a smoother handset turn on a quartz watch quite like this. The chrono pushes are lovely and big. There is a really nice click when you engage that seconds hand, and I really do love that sub dial whirling away. Press the top pusher again to stop, and then the bottom right pusher resets. Very nice.
Hello.
On my 6.5-inch wrist,
Go away. I don't want to talk right now.
I'm really depressed about this. I knew it was going to look big. It's too big for me. The lugs don't curve down enough for me to get away with it. I have to say that the strap is much more comfortable than I thought as well. And if I own this watch, I probably would keep it on this. Here it is outside in the wild. There is anti-reflective coating on the inside of that crystal, and you do get some reflection, but with a black dial and white indices and handset, it's a very legible watch, isn't it? Just wish it was smaller. So there you go, the Bulova Lunar Pilot. Give us the positives. I love the style of it. I love the design of it. I love the build quality of it. It's one of the best dials I've reviewed on this channel, and I'm not sure this watch gets enough credit it deserves. That high quartz performance movement is incredible. Who needs a mechanical watch when you have a quartz sweep like that?
Yeah, don't tell my other 50 mechanical watches.
But it's a true feat of horological engineering, isn't it? For around £400, if you like space and watches together, this is an absolute no-brainer. Give us the negatives. Oh yeah, like you don't know. They made the watch bigger than the original. Only Bulova can tell us why. I don't really like the added date complication. It's not needed in my view. The only other thing is, I wouldn't mind the water resistance upped a little bit. I know it's a pilot's watch. Most of us are not pilots. We're going to use this for everyday use. And having 100 meters water resistance just gives us that confidence to go out in any weather. Here it is, my wife's first impressions of the Bulova Lunar Pilot. I like the face, I just don't like what it's sitting on. I don't like the strap, looks cheap. I'd love to know your thoughts of the Bulova Lunar Pilot. I know a lot of you guys own these. Well, I know a lot of guys have bought this watch, but because of the size, they don't wear it and end up flipping it. I truly have been really impressed with this watch. I'm quite excited to get my hands on another Bulova soon. It's just a shame it's not the fit for me. I'll just have to keep saving for that Speedmaster, won't I? From me, the Mad Watch Collector, I'll see you in a tick, 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 a tick.
Second, every hour, every minute of the day. Always end up being